Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Moltrap here again with Diggity Cloudart doing Game 5 of the first day of the playoffs between STX Seoul and Samsung Con in the 2008-2009 Shinhan Bank Pro League with cherries on top and a partridge in a pear tree. And this is going to be Hwasin versus Juni on Outsider, and it should be a fun game. We're probably going to see, well, I don't know what we're going to see, honestly, because Hwasin, definitely the better player all around. Likes to choke, likes to not live up to expectations. Juni, kind of the lackluster Zerg. I think he used to play on the 2v2 team sometimes for Con. Not really worth watching most of the time, but we'll see what he can pull out here. This is Outsider, which is a fun map for Zergs. If you can hold your door early on and take the air, you can get tons of expansions around the side of the map and get 5 gas and come out with crop loads of Ultralisks and Guardians and stuff if you want. So we'll see if Juni decides to use the map in his favor or if Hwasin's going to bring his superiority to bear.
Yeah, I gotta say, Hwasin is like the Chicago Cubs of StarCraft. He's so hard to be a fan for. Because he'll play incredibly and then just all of a sudden tank. Or you'll be like, oh, he's gonna take the Season 7 cell, and then he'll lose. And he looks tired again. He's been looking really tired in all of his matchups lately. He needs to maybe sleep a bit. He's starting in the upper right-hand corner in teal. Juni starting at the 9 o'clock position in orange. This is Outsider. There's, of course, the other expansion bottom right. Part of the thing for Terran on this map, I like the play of STX putting Hwasin on this map because it's really hard for Terran. Terran has to be aggressive quickly, simply because, I don't know, it's weird. It's easy for Zerg to secure a lot of gas. It's easy for them to transition into things like Big Air, into Ultralisks late game. So it feels like Terran just have to hold on, get their economy rolling, and then just really quickly bowl their opponent over. And if they don't, it feels like it's a Zerg win every time. So we'll see how it goes. Looks like Hwasin actually building that barracks outside of his base to maybe get the Marines out a little bit faster, put on a little bit of additional pressure here. We'll see what he's up to as far as builds in a minute.
Yeah, and it looks like, yeah, Hwasin at the 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock position, and we've got Juni at the 8 o'clock. And I definitely feel that if you've got an S-class or even an A-class Zerg on this map, it's going to be really tough to beat them unless you can take them down early. But the other reason I like Hwasin being on this is because we all know Hwasin's primary strength is his Medic and Marine micro. And when he gets that going, that's when he's at his most lethal against Zerg players, and really against almost anyone, but especially against Zerg players. And I feel this is not really a mech build sort of map for Terran players. I feel it's a map where SK Terran is the kind of way to go, gonna get those Medic and Marines out, get those Science Vessels out, pump those Science Vessels out. And I think if a Terran player can do that, they can have a chance and obviously get those dropships going. But if a Zerg player, as Moltrap said, and Hwasin sending 2 SCVs out, we might be seeing a bunker rush. We saw him, I think, was it Hwasin who did a bunker rush versus Quanro, and we saw that fail spectacularly, and Hwasin ended up being at the receiving end of infested Terrans, but I guess he's just sending the double SCV out to scout. But I definitely feel that Hwasin's up to something a little bit here with that. Looks like we're not actually seeing a 12 hatchery build, which has been the forte for Zerg recently on this map. We're actually seeing, I think it might have been an overpool build, and getting his extractor as well for Juni. And Juni now putting his expansion down, and Hwasin is indeed bunker rushing, and this might be disastrous for Hwasin because Juni did put that spawning pool down first, so he might be in a decent position to defend against. I guess Hwasin banking on that 12 hatch, and it might not work out like that. 6 drones coming in from Juni, and Hwasin, I think, is going to struggle here.
Wow, and Hwasin's, oh man, his Marines getting completely surrounded by drones. The bunker completes, there's nothing left to put in it. He's going to have to work, though. He's going to have to use those drones to block that Marine before he can get in. He's trying to use the SCVs to run interference. The one Marine is going to get into the bunker. That Marine does get in, but he does have those Zerglings out now. He's going to be able to pump Zerglings out of those 2 hatcheries. And it looks like he's just decided to run them by and counterattack, and Hwasin is going to have to run that extra Marine back to his base. I think he's going to be fine, though. He just needs to get a few SCVs on the ramp in front of those 2 Marines, and he will be golden. But as we can see here, Hwasin, in an attempt to keep that bunker out of visual range, has actually kept that bunker out of range of the hatchery, not even able to attack the hatchery, and now he actually doesn't counterattack. He brings in the Zerglings from both sides and polishes off that bunker while the SCVs were dancing around. So essentially no effect at all for Hwasin, doesn't even put any pressure on, puts his bunker outside of range of the hatchery, and now he's going to have to play defense, and he hasn't really gained a lot from this early pressure.
Not sure what's with Hwasin lately. There's something that happened along the way where he's just been playing flat, I have to say, and that bunker rush just shows it. He's still a dangerous player, but the old Hwasin, he would never have such a failure like that. That was just really bad, I gotta say, across the board. Some Zerglings now putting up, but there's already a couple Marines there to block that off. Halting the Marine production for the moment to try to get a command center built. It looks like Juni is in fact going to see that. So the standard for Juni is just to go up to Mutalisks, put on a good harass, and then just get your additional gas and work it all the way until you've basically got enough to go big air if you feel like it. That tends to be the pretty standard thing, and then just plop a ton of sunken colonies down on your front door just in case the Terran decides to counterattack you. The SCV Scout's still just chilling in the base, but I'm pretty sure that's what Hwasin's expecting. I'm pretty sure that's what Juni's after, because he hasn't already plopped down a third hatchery. And a single, wow, kind of a, for a second there I thought Hwasin was actually going to press forward with that, but it looks like he is going to hold up a single medic Marine force, a single medic with a large Marine force pressing out now, maybe to put on some pressure. This might warrant a second sunken colony, but he could cheat on this a little bit, just with the Zerglings and the single sunken colony. Let's see if he plays safe or not. He might just put it down just to be... Yeah, okay, he did put that second one down, so a little bit of an economic pullback from him. There's that Spire, but Hwasin way behind on getting that command center down. He's going to be way behind economically from the point he wanted to be at, and he's going to have a lot of work to just press into Juni, especially after that critical moment right after the mid-game when the Zerg is trying to tech up to that higher level tech, and you got to get in there, you got to get your science vessels out, and you really got to make that mad dash push, and we'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to even a point before that when those, and it looks like a third sunken now going down, so Hwasin at least doing a decent job in that regard, hunting down some of those Zerglings with stim Marines, and this is more reminiscent of the Hwasin we know and love, and he's going to actually hunt down almost all the Zerglings, just one survives to circle around, but Hwasin hunts all those Zerglings down, and he has forced a third sunken as well, which I really don't think Juni actually needed, because Hwasin is still limited to pretty much that one group of medic Marines that he had. He's only now putting down his, I think, second and third racks, but I think, yeah, the crucial moment's probably going to come a little bit earlier than that mid-game transition. I think it's going to come down when those Mutalisks pop out for Juni, and whether or not Hwasin can defend successfully against them. If Hwasin can defend decently, he might be able to fight back and get to the point where he can get into that sort of mid-game game against the Zerg player. But Juni seems to be still on the 2-hatchery build, interestingly enough, and I gotta say it was kind of clever of Juni to not go for the 12-hatch. I think that's what kind of threw Hwasin off when he went for the bunker rush, because he really expected a 12-hatch, and he really did not expect his opponent to do anything different, and I think that he was surprised by the fact that his opponent did do something different, and I think that kind of was mainly the reason why his bunker rush was so lackadaisical.
Yeah, and at first I thought Hwasin didn't gain much from that early pressure, but Juni hasn't really capitalized on Hwasin's mistakes on that. And so I think this is actually looking pretty good for Hwasin, because now Juni, just off 2 hatcheries, is going for a 2-hatch muta, and here's what I was talking about. He's going to try and use this early muta harass to get more bases. He's getting a third base to the south of his main, and he's going to try and get that double gas at the sort of 7 o'clock position as well. And so basically, Hwasin, I mean, he's had to play defense, and I thought that that's what Juni was going to do, was use the fact that Hwasin was playing defensively to build up, and that's exactly what he's doing off a 2-hatch muta build. So Hwasin's going to have to, I think he's going to be okay holding off this muta attack. In fact, just killing 1 or 2 mutas off a little bit of a careless micro from Juni. I think he's going to be okay defending, but he needs to not just defend, but he's going to need to defend this attack and put pressure back on Juni. Otherwise, Juni's going to run away with 5 gas.
Yeah,
4 gas.
Interesting enough,
Sorry,
Juni
yeah.
going... Yeah, Juni being a little bit cheap on Mutalisks there. He's, I'm not quite sure he had the number, but usually you'll see the full set of 9, and I don't think that's the full set of 9 that we're seeing here. And losing that one Mutalisk early is really going to hurt, and not getting a lot of damage, and not really hitting the SCVs at all, not even taking out any Marines. There's the Queen's Nest, and you can't lose Mutalisks, you can't damage Mutalisks without getting anything out of it, and then expect to come out with the game. Hwasin putting up a very nice defense. I'm not sure if it's Hwasin's good defense or Juni's poor Mutalisk micro here. More Mutalisks gathering up for, it looks like, another attack. Doesn't look like he's kind of pushing in with additional Mutalisks, though. I didn't see any more reinforcements come across the field, so we might see kind of a shift back to some sort of different tech. More barracks being landed, and it looks like Hwasin's got a pretty sizable attack force. Not as many turrets, so he's been able to be pretty cheap on the turrets in this defense thus far. Usually you'll see turrets absolutely everywhere in a Terran's main, and Juni just kind of holding up, and it looks like finally going in, but getting pinned in between that turret and the Marine again. Not killing any SCVs and not killing any Marines. Wow, he's falling behind in this match, I would say, and Hwasin right back in it.
Hwasin is back in it, but Hwasin has only got a window of about 10 minutes before those double expansions kick in at the 7 and 8 o'clock positions. Those 3 extra gas kick in, and already the hive morphing for Juni. So Hwasin literally has got maybe 5 to 7 minutes to do something, to make something happen, because after that point, Juni's going to start macroing up and mass-producing units, and now he's already starting to put a lot more Mutalisks out just to kind of keep the pressure on Hwasin and prevent Hwasin from kind of really getting into the game. But I think we underestimated, I guess, perhaps a little bit the damage Hwasin did with that bunker rush, as failed as it was, because Juni did lose 3 drones, and he had another 4 drones patrolling out and about for a while there, and not mining. So that was a little bit of an advantage that Hwasin did get back out of it, and then he did do a good job of pressuring with the Medican Marines. But now the Greater Spire is morphing. Juni's already got the double gas up, and at the 6 o'clock though, he's only actually he's only actually collecting, harvesting gas from one of those 2 extractors at that double gas. But I'm sure he'll be getting drones out to take the second in a second. Hwasin looks like he's just about ready to make his push. He's got his siege tank out. He's got a large Medican Marine force. I guess he's going to get the science vessel joining him. If Juni can intercept that science vessel, that'll be huge. But the problem for Hwasin is that Juni does have a pretty deep line of Sunkens as well, even though Juni hasn't done much damage with his mutant side. So Hwasin with a brief window of time, and Juni hasn't morphed those Sunkens here. If Hwasin just pushes in, he could actually probably roll him over, because Juni's only got the 3 Sunkens, and actually that's his hive there as well as natural expo, so it's not a base he can afford to lose. Hwasin now sieging up outside there, but Juni's just going to be able to, I think, layer those Sunkens and bring in those Mutalisks while delaying Hwasin's reinforcements. So I think actually he might be okay here.
Yeah, I think Juni's barely going to be able to hold this off. His Greater Spire is nearly complete now, and that was his plan, basically, was to just delay, get the hive up, get the Greater Spire going, get those 4 gas, and then come out with Guardians, I suppose. And he's going to have some Scourge alongside, but he already has a few Scourge in the way. There's the Greater Spire popping here. He's going to have to pull those Mutas back behind his base and morph to Guardians, and those Guardians, I think, are probably going to come in just in time to hold this off. But no, Hwasin realizes that timing. He knows he needs to break it now. He's running in, having to cancel the Guardians and run them out of the way. Marines are all in his natural expansion. He has been completely breached, and he doesn't have the forces to hold this off. If that hive goes down, it's going to be absolutely death for him. And I think either way, actually, even if the hive were in his base, this would be the end, because he is completely breached. The hive goes down. The hive goes down, and he's now morphing just a few Guardians in the background, but he's left now with a bunch of gas and a bunch of tech and no units, whilst 2 or 3 divisions of Marines march up his main ramp into his main base and destroy everything he's been trying to hold off to build up this entire time. Defiler Den goes down, Queen's Nest go down, Ultraless Cavern goes down, Guardians coming out to try and pick away at tanks, but I think it's too late.
Yeah, it's far too late. All the drones evacuated. The Defiler Mound taking out. You do have the Ultra Stem, but you're just not going to be able to produce off this. Really, Juni, by having such an ineffective, he's going to run and surround those Guardians too and wipe them all out. Ouch. Well, not all of them, but he's going to get all of them.
Yeah, he slaughters them.
That was... Oh, geez. So that's game. Yeah, he just had an absolutely pitiful Mutalisk attack, is really what that came down to. Absolutely pitiful Mutalisk attack. And Hwasin was able to build up that Medic Marine force and push before Juni was ready as a result. With very few turrets. Hwasin able to, supplant that with Marines instead, able to get some more medics out, and able to push way before Juni was ready. And I gotta say, beautiful play on Hwasin. Beautiful defense is really what won him the game.
I think this is.
Can I just throw out the?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, can I just throw out the fact that Juni had the gas there, I feel, to perhaps get a couple of lurkers in the mix, and that would have bought him the time he needed to get those Guardians. I don't think he was really short on gas to get a couple of lurkers on the way to cementing that. I think he tried to jump too far, even despite his horrible Mutalisk harass. But I don't know what you guys think about that.
I guess he could have. I think he was just hoping that he could delay long enough with Sunks alone. And like Diggity said, he didn't have enough Sunks up in time. And then he was trying to build Sunks, but he hadn't morphed those 3 before, and so he just didn't quite have enough meat in the way. and to make him wait for the tanks to take it down. So that's GG. Thanks for watching.